Well, good morning, everyone. Uh, Interesting past 24 hours that I've had. Those of you unfamiliar, during last night's live stream, the channel was fully banned about 15 minutes into the show on YouTube. Um, the interesting thing being, this is obviously not the first time that this has happened. This is actually the third for me. So um, there may be some people that watch this that are unfamiliar with the channel, but the long and the short of it is I have been making in depth tutorials for how to properly obtain, use, and secure Bitcoin for 9 years now. 9 years, 370,000 subscribers, something like that. And I don't know, 16 million people have watched these videos, which is wild. And for a long time, it's been just me, kind of working on everything. As of last year, in the early spring, I hired my first person. Now there's a team of six of us working on this. So when shit goes sideways, it's not just me that it affects. So, again, let's go into a little bit of what actually happened. Effectively, we were doing the stream. It was myself and my co host Nathan for the weekly session. And we were talking about relatively tame stuff. You know, we were talking about the Fed, we were talking about the M2 global money supply, we were talking about all this different stuff. And as we were talking about, the pressure on the Fed to cut interest rates and everything, we just got rug pulled midstream. I'm looking off to the side. I see the YouTube chat disconnects, and then I went to refresh the page over there, and it's just like the stream was gone. We were simultaneously streaming to X, and that one remained up, so we just kind of finished the show there. But nonetheless, I was obviously visibly upset as that was happening. After the show, again, I just made a post saying, "Hey, looks like the YouTube channel was banned," and it's obviously never a good feeling when it was just me. When it has happened prior, wondering if this thing that I've poured my blood, sweat, and tears into for 9 years of my life is still going to be there. Is it going to get reinstated, or am I basically just going to have to rebuild from scratch? And luckily, this time, again, people made enough of a stink online that I think they had to kind of deal with it quickly. So thank you to everybody that really dove in and and started commenting and tagging YouTube and all of that. So I'll again just to kind of show here's the Twitter post I made. It's like, 800,000 people saw this post. You've got like Lynn Alden jumping in the ring. You've got the CEO of Rumble, and we'll get to that in a minute, jumping in as well. YouTube eventually replied like a couple hours afterwards. It's just so many awesome people. And again, somebody who's no stranger to being banned on YouTube. Nico, again, jumping in, retweeting, sharing. Trezor, Bull Bitcoin, Relay, Isabella, Anders, Bitcoin Archive, like all these people, BTC Prague, just so many people kind of leaning in and helping. that's that's a good one. But again, it just kind of highlights, as Bitcoiners, we've understood that we are vulnerable to censorship through the traditional financial system, and we've migrated to something where that is not possible. But when it comes to media, we've got a solution, which I'll discuss in a minute. But in terms of my goals, I'm having a difficult time honing in on how to best diversify and make sure that, if something like this happens, yes, it's a hit, but it's not a huge detriment. So let's discuss a little bit about that. So the most obvious immediate action is to lean harder into Rumble. Rumble has been very, very friendly. A lot of people migrated to Rumble during lockdowns and everything like that when they weren't allowed to speak their mind on YouTube and would get banned instantly. Where did everybody go? Rumble. So I do have a Rumble. Come find me. It's BTC Sessions. So please do follow the channel there. This is streaming there right now, if I'm not mistaken. And so, that's helpful. And I think I need to lean harder into that. Now, the tricky bit I've found, and maybe things have changed, but the tricky bit with Rumble has been in the main content that I'm trying to relay to people, and that's the tutorials, right? Like the whole point of this channel is to get people to become more self-sovereign in terms of their money, be able to keep the fruits of their labor in a censorship-resistant, immutable, sound money. And I found that live streams on Rumble do get treated better, but I want to funnel people into the educational stuff. Like that's the whole reason that we do the news show. That's the whole reason we do the panel shows. All of it is like a top of funnel to get people towards the actual educational stuff, So when you click through and you want to find out what happened in Bitcoin this week, I'll share right here. The ulterior motive for me having that show is to get you to go to the tutorials and to take your self-sovereignty into to actually have control of your money, take action. And so we try to seed that into the fun shows like the panel shows and give people little breadcrumbs to lead them to these tools. And I find that the pre-uploaded videos don't get the same love on Rumble, and maybe that's something that will change. And so I'm willing to once again examine that. And I see people saying, Rumble has been very pro Bitcoin. I've heard rumblings of them integrating Bitcoin wallet, all that kind of stuff. So I think it's worth leaning into that hard. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that, of course, like Rumble is a platform that they have control over what the content is. Up till now, it's shown to be, pretty pro-free speech, and they haven't been shutting down people's channels and stuff like that for trivial things or on a whim, as happened with YouTube here. But, you still have to observe those risks and try to understand them. And so the natural next thing where that censorship just cannot take place is, of course, Noster, right? Noster is designed specifically to be able to post whatever you like, have nobody take it down, and you own your data as well. Like you can own your own relay, you can back up your own data, and if you were to say, like Primal can say, oh, you're not allowed on Primal, but all my connections remain. If I migrate over to another client, it's kind of like the internet itself. If you look at a website from a different browser, it doesn't matter. And so if you're looking at Primal you're looking at Noster via Primal, and Primal stops working, you can just go and use Damus, or you can just go and use Amethyst. You can use all these different tools to view the same data in different ways. And so Noster is a natural fit when it comes to that. And I can stream on Noster. In fact, this is also streaming there right now via something like zap.stream. Now, the issue I'm running into with Primal, not Primal, but Noster in general, when it comes to the type of content, is that it's so new that the cataloging and the visibility of this stuff, and in particular, what's my goal? I'm trying to catch new people, right? I'm trying to catch people that haven't even begun their journey down the rabbit hole yet. And I'm trying to catch people that come across things and start to recognize, oh, maybe this is important. And so you kind of need to be where lots of people are to begin to catch those new individuals and lead them down that rabbit hole. You have to start the breadcrumb trail somewhere. And, Noster, when people are already on Noster, they kind of know what's up already. And maybe that will change. So, I'm hoping that changes because right now it's, the Bitcoiners are on Noster and there's more people coming to Noster for different reasons. But the point being is that the funnel there is going to be narrow. Now, if the other part of it is hosting the data of the actual videos, my videos are huge. Like some of them, yeah, like multiple gigabytes per episode per tutorial. If I have a tutorial that's an hour and a half long, it's going to be like 10 gigs. And so with Noster, it's difficult to reliably host that, have it replayable and well categorized and have playlists and all of that kind of stuff. The tools just aren't there yet, but I'm waiting and hoping that this is what comes to fruition over time. So if you're developing on Noster, I would love to talk to you about why YouTube, as it is right now, lends itself to what I'm doing. And even Rumble, I'd love to chat with Rumble and kind of just explore what tools are at my fingertips. Now, again, the other, I'm going from decentralized or censorship resistant to another kind of centralized, potentially censor prone platform. But like when it comes to X, again, we were streaming on X yesterday when we got the ban, and X was still up. So people kind of watched me get banned from YouTube and then continue the show on X. So again, for the time being, X seems to be, relatively pro free speech. But again, that can be at the whim of Elon, right? Like it's still a centralized platform. Also, it's not tenable when it comes to uploading video content that you want to have a long shelf life and that you want to be easily indexed. So like I can't put together like an easy playlist of like, here's your Bitcoin privacy playlist. Here's how you do this, that, and the other thing. There's no like go to the channel and sort through different playlists and try to find what you need. Good luck finding a tutorial that I posted a year and a half ago natively to X. That's why I'm not actively doing it. If they were to change the platform and allow for stuff like that and have like a native, like video focused, uploadable, easily referenced place to go, then yeah, I'd absolutely be doing that simultaneously here as well. But it's not there. And so, and then the other option is self-host. Like this is my website. And right now it's, YouTube videos, just kind of embedded for like a zero to hero page. And it's great when YouTube's up. Of course, I think I could self-host, this set of videos, but I've got 9 years of content. So like, it's really hard for me to self-host 9 years of content and then build a website where you can index all of it and find it easily. It's tough. And like, again, all of these are YouTube playlists that are linked within the website. And so basically when YouTube decides to ban me randomly, the website doesn't work anymore. It's this vicious circle. So I don't have a good answer here. But I did want to say that I really, really appreciate all the support. What I will be doing is obviously YouTube's functioning. I'll continue to use it, but I'm going to be I need to basically hire somebody to run Rumble for me and clean it up and make it presentable. And basically, I'd love it to be the mecca for education in and around Bitcoin on Rumble. But it needs some TLC in order to be that. And so I would love if anybody wants to reach out and is good on Rumble and wants to take on that task. I think it's worth doing. Still looking for a solution when it comes to Noster. If you have any great ideas, it has to be accessible to your average person though. Like in terms of somebody coming in, just pointing them to a page, here's the resources. And then that becomes censorship resistant in that way. And keep in mind the video size. Again, zap.stream. My one gripe here is that when I go to stream, it'll stream on here, but I would love it to auto just post to my Noster profile. Right now, people have to know I'm streaming. Otherwise, I have to actively, while I'm streaming, go in and then share it on on my actual Noster page. And it's just, it doesn't lend itself to easy discoverability. And yeah, X, I don't know, Elon, make YouTube style pages. That would be nice. And I'll work on some more self hosting here. Either way, guys, I am going to head out and I'm going to be working today on another type of censorship resistance, which is the SAT market. We've got the SAT market here in Calgary, followed by the Bitcoin rodeo. And the SAT market was created specifically to stop people from being censored with their money, because on and off ramps can still be censored for Bitcoin. And we built a local circular economy in my city. And this will be our biggest one yet. So if you're in the Calgary area, please do come. It's free to attend. It's free to be a vendor. I just kind of have been bankrolling it myself because I think I'm super passionate about it and I think it's super important. So if you can, make it out. Bitcoin Rodeo in Calgary on the weekend, heading up to Banff to host a workshop with Bitcoin Mentor on Monday. Anyways, guys, that's it for me. Impromptu, kind of not typical episode this morning, but I thank you guys so much for all the support. It was overwhelming. My Twitter was exploding. I couldn't even read through all the comments. I got personal messages from so many people, and it really does mean a lot. After 9 years of working on this channel, you know, I want to make it to a decade with it still standing. Would be pretty cool. And thank you all. So anyways, have a good Friday. See you guys later, hopefully.